Hello, everybody.
Hey now.
Brent and Janice is here. We're having some technical difficulties with Janice's mic and I guess headphones or earbuds or she can't hear us, but we can hear her. Say something, Janice. She can't hear me say something. so we're gonna do the best we can with Janice here today. But like last week, I think there was a challenge, wasn't it? Challenging somehow. There were many things going on. But the bottom line is today's show is about meditation and this kind of a thing. And I wanted to test this out with her, but we weren't having any success. I wanted to start the show with this. Can you guys hear? Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Is it really loud?
It's pretty loud.
All right. Well, that's my Tibetan singing bowl. Let me solo me here. And thank you, by the way, for coming to, I got to find where's the cursor thingy. Thank you for coming to the Music is Therapy show, where today I'm going to talk about music and how it relates to meditation. Around this bowl in Tibetan, it says the prayer or the mantra that Tibetan monks, you'll often hear them sing. Ome Padme Om. It's just repeated over and over again. And I should have looked up what exactly it means because at one point I knew what it meant, but suddenly it doesn't come to mind. But something like, peace to all or have peace, something of that sort. Let me look it up on Google right now. Ome Padme Om, Tibetan chant. What does it mean? As a six-syllable Sanskrit mantra, particularly associated with the four-armed Shadashari form of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. But what does it mean? What does the chant mean? It means praise to the jewel in the lotus. Okay. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I learned about the lotus flower and the plant during my studies about Egypt before we went to Egypt. And the lotus flower actually has some very interesting, well, I wouldn't call it psychedelic, but it has some effects on the brain and in other regions of the brain. Let's say hi to everyone in the chat too. Brent is already giving thumbs up to people. Johnny Bean says, am I early? Apparently, 9:47, you were early. I did send Johnny a link, but I think he has something going on. We did get if you're into the other side of the YouTube channel that I have here, I have the Gear and Demo show, and we talk a lot about gear and demos. And Johnny Bean, big influence, obviously, on me and my channel and getting it going. Talking a lot about Van Halen, as you can tell by the Van Halen stuff all around me here. I became a big fan of, I guess you could say a fan again, a new fan. Not that I wasn't an old.
The first thing you talked about today was gear.
Yeah. And I did manage to get some of the stuff reorganized in the studio room here. As you can see, I'm also a fan of the Star Wars, which has a lot to do with meditative kind of stuff, with the Force and all that kind of thing, right? Well, my lighting keeps kind of popping in and out. Funny. It's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on with the camera. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about music. What's that?
You got that little flicker going on.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what's causing that. I think it's like the camera is trying to adjust to the lighting somehow. Yeah. But I don't have a side fill light on this side, and I really need one because you can see I got this side fill light here, and then I've got the above lighting, which is making my head shine. Let's turn that off. Maybe that'll improve things a bit. But then people can't see. Then people can't see the background. Now that didn't really change too much, did it? Now it just takes the lighting off of the background, but that's all right. There is one other light I should have turned on. Hold on. This little light's kind of cool.
It stopped flickering though.
I have to find the switch for it.
What's up, Zach Thong?
Yeah,
What
that's
up,
the light that
CC?
my mom got me for
What up,
Christmas.
Alex Bradford, bro?
What's up, Alex?
Yes,
Dude,
it's
I hope
not
you're doing
a.
all
It's
right.
not the
Alex was going through some troubles from what I saw on his Facebook post. Looks good. Okay, thanks, Alex. Right on, man. Well, let's say hi to everyone. Let's say Zach Thong is here. Saying hi to CC. CC is here. Saying hi to Zach. You got Alex. I look great, he says. Of course you do. You young strapping lad, you. William De Silva. Oh yeah, I forgot. Let's see the Kiesel Octo. There we go. That's New Gear Day from Thursday, right? When did you get it, on Thursday or on Wednesday? Very cool. Sean
let me
Hockey also
think.
here. 26 people in the chat here,
Yes.
and trying to try turning me on.
Phrasing.
Says that you're disconnected. I was trying to post this when we were having all this trouble with that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to text her. I'm gonna text her that you need to says you're disconnected. This is what happens when you're trying to start a show and there's some trouble. There's some, I remember many times with Johnny Bean with some of his guests having issues getting the system working. There's always some problem. Pooh Ninja says he's disconnected. Well, through meditation and music, we're hoping to reconnect you to it all today, Pooh. There we go. Anyway, Lucas, you like that one. Lucas of L&M Guitar Corner from the coolest corner of Austria, right? Lucas and Martin, they put me up for a couple nights there and had a great time hanging out. And we're planning to visit you again this summer. I don't know if it's going to be possible to visit you guys, but we're going to try, because my sweetie wants to go to Switzerland, and that's right across the border from you guys, right? So we're thinking about driving through from Budapest, stop in Vienna, Salzburg, visit you guys. And my sweetie wants to stay in a cabin in the middle of the woods where there's nothing else around. I don't know why, because every time we watch movies like that, she freaks out.
Dude, that is
I'm
not.
never going to do that, but she wants to like be in the midst of that serenity, and I think, yeah, we're
I would
coming
need a
in
gun if
the
I did
middle of
that.
September. So I'm going
I
to
would
go ahead
be
and
scared.
disconnect Janice. So I'm not going to ban her. I'm going to kick her from the studio. Kick guest, and then you're going to have to rejoin, Janice. Try rejoining now, and hopefully we can get Janice in, because I'd like to have her in our show. Hip Metalworks also here. What's up, Hip Metalworks? Charles 75N. Wonderful show with Terry, talking to him about. I really like that part where you talked about how you appreciate Terry for not being shy about playing if he's not perfect and whatnot. I think there's too much pressure, out there. The competitive nature of music is not something that I really enjoy. But I'll jump in on that too sometimes. Just, there's nothing wrong with some healthy competition sometimes, but it can also turn some people off, and turn them away from experimenting and playing musically and just expressing themselves musically. And I think that music isn't something you should just express if you want to make a living at it like a professional. And music is for everyone. And just because some people at some point in our lifetimes decided to make a business out of it and make an industry out of it doesn't mean that we can't create and make music for ourselves and our friends, right?
Very well said.
I had to push that button for that one. So it's not just about creating music for purposes of making money. It's an expression. It's an art, right? And not everyone's art may be appreciated by everyone else. That's fine. You should be able to express it however you want.
And if
Right?
someone doesn't appreciate it at the time, doesn't mean it's bad either.
That's right.
It just means someone didn't understand it or didn't
All
appreciate it.
right. I
That's
think we
it
got
means
Janice
that's
back
exactly
in.
what it says.
Janice
Okay,
is
let's
there, but
see.
she's got really up close thing. I'm going to say back away from the camera a little bit. Can you hear me? Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to write to her. Wait for her to get it together here. I'm going to say back away from the camera a bit. Away from the camera a bit. And then I think she's on her phone, perhaps. On your phone, I'm going to write, question mark. Because we want Janice to look good when she's on, right? Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to bring you in. Yeah, so she needs to, like, if she's wobbling, try not to wobble. Wobble the phone and, okay. Oh, she left again. And make yourself same size as us. These are like YouTube things, right? I've been trying to get better at it, and I'm gonna try to help other people to get better at it. Let's see if this works. Okay. We see half of your face. Of your face. Okay, that's better. It's getting better. Getting better. Better. Oops. Not butter. Better. Almost there. Good. Okay, there we go. Good. All right, I'll let her in. Okay, Janice Lala. Welcome to the chat.
Hey now.
How's it going?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Excellent.
All right.
You look great too. Look at that.
But I
That's
really
perfect.
I can't see the chat though.
Oh, well, I guess you're gonna have to skip the
I
chat.
have to go on YouTube on my laptop to read the chat.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. You don't have to read the chat. While you're a guest, you don't have to moderate. That's why we have other moderators. Why we should see what the other
Well, I want
moderators
to see what
do.
everybody's saying.
Yeah, that's true. Let me see. Let's get over there. Let's get to my channel here. Find my channel. I got so many other people live. This is what I knew would happen with the internet. Eventually, YouTube was going to get flooded with so many YouTubers doing YouTube stuff. I think everyone's happy to see you here, Janice. Hip Metal Works is saying cheers. And you got some killer strings, something or another to Sean Hockey, says William. So Robo Hody. I keep wanting to say Robo Hody. Robo Hody, it stuck with me. Hold on. Robo Hody. All right. We're going to try not to be too silly today. Today's supposed to be serious.
Well, this phone is really behind.
Yeah, I know. Last show, the Gear and Demo show, was just basically a free-for-all crazy show of madness because I think we all needed it, right? That might have been why. And yeah, and we needed to, let everyone know we're moving to Wednesday nights for the Gear and Demo show, which is gear about musical gear. So, obviously this is a piece of musical gear right here. Do you hear this yet, Janice?
Yes, I did hear it.
I'll try not to hit it too loud.
One of those would be cool outside in like the that San Francisco where the jazz guys were playing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, oh, now I'm hearing a. Okay, it went away. It went away. Janice, you went from sideways to up and down. What happened? You switched from horizontal to vertical.
No, I was on the same thing all the whole time.
Are you sure? Wasn't she? No. Flip your phone sideways. Let's see what happens. There you go. No, it's not good. I don't know what happened. Oh, I don't know. We're having technical difficulties, but that's all right. Just leave it the way it is, Janice. It's fine.
Yeah, I hate this angle. That's a problem.
Yeah. Well, next time I'll not eat breakfast and come on earlier, or eat breakfast earlier. But my sweetie was lounging. We were lounging, and we didn't get out of bed quickly enough. So, and I was doing all my research for the show too. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Alex. Yeah. Stuff happens, right? Robo Hody, right?
You can hear what I'm saying, but can they hear what I'm saying?
Everyone can hear you, Janice. Yeah. Everyone can hear you. If we can hear you, everyone can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird though, because when I look at your the view of you down below here, like when I remove you and add you back, the view down below is like half of your face, like just this part. But then up on the screen here, we can see.
It's weird.
but it's mostly your. Why don't you step out again and step back in, just like you did?
Oh, I don't want to take that chance.
No, you'll be all right. It'll work. I think it would be better because right now it's like too much of just right into the camera like this kind of thing. And anyway, try it.
How's that?
But that's better. Anyway, so Ryan Hall saying hi to everyone as well. Reach out later if you can. Mother calls. Yeah, you got to take care of your mom and all that, and that's very important. Do it. Who else did we miss at the top of the chat? I want to make sure we say hi to everyone. I think I saw Matt Stewart also here. Package on the way if you haven't already. You probably didn't get it yet because I sent it yesterday. And then we've got Mark's gas station saying greetings, of course. Lynette, thank you for coming back. We've got, of course, William DeSilva we said hi to. Blackjack Guitar. CC saying hi. Blackjack Guitar saying hi to everyone. Martin is also here, not just Lucas of L&M Guitar Corner. And Robohody. Hoborody, sorry. It's just getting funny at this point that I keep saying that. And then Janice is here, of course. And there's Charles saying hi to his friends as well here in the chat. They had a nice show today talking with Terry. Guitar Man 45. They were talking with Bo about his experience. I think Bo used to work with Sweetwater, right? You were one of the reps. Keith H. also here. Nice to have you here, Keith. And Sean Hockey. And then we've got Blue Mox or Bloom Hawks or Blue Mox. I'm not sure what that is, but I guess it's a blue hawk. But it's a mocking hawk. It mocks the hawks. And then we've got yeah, I think that's everybody. I think I said hi to everybody so far.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome to the show. So why don't they make a train wreck emoji? Yeah, that would be smart. Like I think like when you do like a monetized channel and you have like subscribers and people that join your channel membership kind of thing like Johnny has, you can choose and create emojis. I mean, I could draw and make my own emoji and create emoji and use that, right? I could even
Boy, I'll tell you, the emojis that I find on Twitch, they're beautiful.
Oops, sorry. They're what?
I don't know how these people form these emojis on Twitch. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. I think you know, there are a lot of artists out there creating art for the purposes of sharing it and even hopefully to make some money at it, right? I remember back in the late 90s when apps were first starting out, and I was back in school again then studying not psychology at that time. I was studying web design and stuff. And was it then? No, that was earlier. I'm thinking more in the mid 2000s. That's right, about 2006 or so. I was telling a buddy of mine, oh, apps is going to be the thing. You got to get into making apps. And of course, I didn't go into that. I went back to school to study psychology instead. And it's all good. It's all good. But people who make apps, they're making good money, right? So let's talk about the topic. What do you guys say?
Get to it. Let's do it.
Music and meditation. Well, you know, I know a little bit about both. I know more about music than I know about meditation. My sweetie, she definitely knows a lot about meditation. She actually studied meditation and got to that point in transcendental types of meditation she was doing, where when we talked to some Tibetan monks, actually, that there's a place not too far from here in Hayward where they have like a little place. I wouldn't call it a temple or a shrine or any, but it's like I guess, you know, meditational temple place, right? Nothing fancy though, you know. And they were talking about how they've been trying to get to the place where Lidani, my sweetie, has been, like through transcendental meditation. She's been to this like place of bliss, connection with everything, where everything was like, it's hard to even describe, she said, you know, but like everything was beautiful. Everything was like, I felt connected to everything. And a lot of people wish they can get there. And she was saying to the monk, I want to get back to that again, you know. And the monk says, I've been studying this stuff, you know, a lot of my life now, and I still haven't gotten there. And so count yourself, you know, be grateful and count yourself lucky that you've been there already, and so you know what that is, that connection to things. Um, so meditation is definitely, one of those things that can be very beneficial to people, right? Us human beings. Um, some of the research I did here, let me take a sip of my coffee because I've been talking a bit. But some of the research here shows that listening to meditation music has several psychological and physiological benefits. And particularly what they call meditation music has been found to reduce stress and anxiety levels, improve mental clarity and focus, enhance creativity and productivity, promote relaxation and calmness. These are all really very important parts of being able to focus. Focus is a big thing, right? To be able to find focus in your life, find focus, on a task that you have at hand, whatever it may be. I find like if I need to focus on what I'm doing, especially like if I'm working in the physical work that I often do, um, I like to put on some music that definitely fits the speed of which I want to. Hey, Wayne, the speed at which I want to work. So let's say I've got a lot to do and I got to get it done. I'll put on some Van Halen, or I'll put on some Motley Crue, or I'll put on something that's got a going beat. It can be even jazz that's fast. It can even be classical, but it's gotta be something that's got a up tempo, and that definitely makes a difference, right? Now, if you want to calm yourself, you want to bring yourself down to a more mellow level. You want to have frequencies often that fit with that. There are certain like frequencies that work with that. Um, Definitely dissonant kind of frequencies, and this is something that like we'll call it the church or whatever you want to call it, but the churches around the world, the religions, they also figured out that certain frequencies like this one, right, can be very calming, right? And there are people that actually do using these bowls, singing bowls, and other kind of soundscapes and stuff you can create with music, like what Brent's doing right now with his guitar. You can bring about a sense of calmness, and that actually helps with connecting with others. So there's a psychologist, Mihai, I guess it's Csikszentmihalyi, which is a Hungarian name. That's why I can pronounce that, because the way it's spelled is crazy. He defines what we also know as musicians, and athletes know this too, the feeling of being in the flow. Like right now, look at Brent, so in the flow, right? You didn't even know what I said, right? Because you're in the flow. He's playing. He's in the state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. That's what they call flow, right? Everything else kind of checks out. You don't even hear other stuff going on, right? You can be in the zone, they also call it, right? And when you're in that state, he says one of the markers of flow is a transient hypofrontality. So now he's talking about the frontal cortex of your brain, your mind, right? It's he's saying it's transient because it's connected to that one focused thing, but it's disconnected from everything else. Okay. He says it's a state where our sense of self temporarily deactivates, and the parts of the brain that generate feelings like anxiety and self doubt are subdued. In this state, the activity becomes entirely rewarding and in and of itself without regard for outcome. So, in other words, like Brent doesn't care if you guys like what he's playing. He's into it, he's in the flow of it. There's no negative thoughts, there's no, self doubt. He's just in the moment, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do care what people think when I'm playing.
But like,
I try to play good, and I want it to sound good, and I put effort into that. But
that's not in the moment
I have
when
a
you're flowing.
confidence that when I am playing, when I'm enjoying it, there's a
Mhm.
likelihood other people are enjoying it.
Yeah. But see, now that's after, and that's now your thinking brain and your cognitive senses talking about that moment. But I'm talking about like when you were in that moment, your eyes were closed for a moment. You're in the zone, right? You're not even here, but you are, right? You are, but you're not. You're transient, That's kind of what he's talking about, this psychologist here. He's talking about how that, it could be like, he says, could life be like this all the time? He asked that question, when you're in that activity, becomes so rewarding. And in that sense, a lot of people even talk about meditation or music can be like what replaces, for many people that are suffering from drug addiction, can replace that feeling. It's because of the dopamine that's being released in your brain when you're playing music or you're listening even to music or meditating. You get the same release of those similar kinds of chemicals. You know, MDMA is one of those chemicals that you can have released in meditation, and that's what Ladani experienced. It's almost like a hypnotic kind of like trance that you fall into, that, like when we did our ayahuasca experience in the jungle, it was like that. That was different, of course, but she's had experiences just from meditation that were like that, hallucinating and stuff, in a sense. It's really fascinating where you can go with meditation. But the connection, like I was talking about with music and meditation, why it's so, um, I guess, why it's so, what's a better word than deep, right? Why it can get down deep into you so easily is because both of them fire your brain up everywhere in ways all at once, right? Different aspects of your brain are doing work at the same time. You get a lot of your brain active with music playing or listening to music, especially if you start to relax and then start to do some kind of meditation. So, so music and meditation go together, and a lot of times one will elicit the other. Like music can get you into, like you've seen those like tribes of native, peoples that are, tribal still, or were using music, and then sometimes even drugs or hallucinogenics and other, chemicals to elicit, that trance like feeling. But people that go to like Burning Man and don't do drugs or drink, or they're just there for the music, they can sometimes, through that trance kind of music, that kind of, the beat going, the sounds are usually like melodic sounds that are positive feeling versus dissonant sounds, and that can get you into that same kind of place that meditation can get you. It's fascinating, isn't it? What do you think, Janice? Have you ever meditated?
Not really, no. I got into some, deep thoughts, or almost like maybe it was a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Lately with the Twitch people.
Like Alex is saying here. Right. So Om is actually the first part of the Tibetan prayer that's, written all around here. And it's Ome Padme Om, and it's like they say it in a monotone. They usually use a certain kind of lower frequency. If you ever seen like Tibetan monks chanting,
Oh.
yeah, you've seen that. You do that some more. Do that some more. That's exactly it. Right.
It's kind of like the drone on the synth people.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the whole synth thing I was telling you about with EDM music. People get into that droning sound,
Oh
especially
yes, I'm definitely into it.
that frequency can get you into that meditative kind of place. It's really amazing. So what else did I want to say here? So they talk here about most meditation traditions assume the answer to this question is yes. Could life be like this all the time? Right? They work with flow as a tool by utilizing meditative states called jhana, which fulfill the criteria for the flow states that music, listening, and playing can generate. As the great sages of Southeast Asia have been telling us since the Axial Age, I'm not sure when the Axial Age was, but gotta look that up now. The gateway to happiness is open when we can let go of our sense of self and the neurosis that comes with it, right? How about that? I think a lot of people today suffer from a lot of, I don't know if they would recognize it as such, but I recognize it as such. There's a lot of neurosis in our society and cultures around the world today. Neurotic thinking, neurotic behavior. It's not even something you attempt or you purposefully want to think. Like when I mean that, I say, do you ever have negative thoughts? Thoughts that tell you that you're not good enough or this, that, or whatever, thoughts. Oh, you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that, or, oh, give up on that, or give up on this, or, oh, that's a waste of time, or blah, 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 right? Those negative voices, the ones that force you to distrust others, to not connect with others, all these things that work against you. It's fascinating that your mind actually does this, right? Why does it do it? But the fact that you can find a way to, I'm not going to use the word fight because I don't think that's a good word. It's like a negative word, fighting it. But you can calm it. You can tamp it down. You can ignore it. And one of those ways is with music. A lot of people like Janice and Brent and all of us have probably experienced this, obviously. Right, Alex Radford, the drone of bagpipes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Robo Rody and William DeSilver having a great conversation. I figured when you said hilt was over the hill, I'm up in Eugene. He's over the hilt. Oh, you guys crack me up. But yeah, the didgeridoo, right? That's used in spiritual and other kind of meditative states that the Aborigine in Australia perform, using that as an instrument of calm kind of sounds. Doesn't necessarily even have to be music. What we call music is another interesting thing, right? What do we call something that's music? When birds are chirping, they're actually talking to each other. That's their language, right? But or they're calling to each other, signaling, right? Is that music to them? Maybe it is, but maybe it's just their language. When we hear whales singing, we call it singing. They're communicating. That's their communication, but we call it a song that whales
There's
are
an
singing.
amazing picture that captured a sound wave from a bird. It was really cold, and so there was just a little bit of fog or whatever in the air when the bird chirped, and it created like a perfect sine wave. It was really cool.
Wow.
You gotta listen to Scruffy Fox.
Scruffy Fox. Okay, I'm gonna take a note of that.
On Twitch. He's actually on YouTube also. He does this thing for 4 hours.
Wow.
It's a drone type thing. It's wonderful. I could play along with it because you could hear the frequencies in it.
Check out
Scruffy Fox.
Fox. All right, I got it.
Yeah. All right.
I saved it. See, I don't need you to X me, Janice. I just make a note. I mean, I mean, Johnny probably has a way of doing that too, but I think he loves having you X him because then later he'll remind him, because during the show he'll forget that he even took the note.
Right.
Whereas later on, because he's got so much going on in his mind that he can't keep it all together. But yeah, but having reminders is a good thing, and you're the best at that. That's for sure. But I just took a note. After the show, I'll check it out. Scruffy Fox. I used to get into that for hours when I was in my late teens, early 20s. I had my first synthesizer, what was it? The Juno 60. That thing had an arpeggiator on it and everything. But you couldn't even save a patch on that one. There was no patch saving. You can just make the sounds, but you couldn't save a patch. Then I got the Juno 120, and that one could. But the Juno 60 had the arpeggiator, and I think the 120 didn't, if I remember correctly, and I really missed it because I could just be holding down chords and go, like Pink Floyd kind of stuff that just goes and goes, and that'll get you into that place. Alex Rappert says, I will say lowest note on a bassoon, drop B flat, is always a great note. I bet. That would be, I want to hear that right now. So what else, you guys? Let me keep talking science to you. I love science. Yeah, Bob Marley said, change the station by changing the music. One good thing about music, when it hits you, feel no pain. says Bob Marley. No woman, no cry, right? And then Mihai here keeps going on talking about much of the time humans are stuck worrying about the past and the future rather than being in the present, right? Obi-Wan taught me that watching the first Star Wars movie. Your mind is always on the past or in the future, not here. Or that was Yoda, not here where you are now, what you're doing, you need to be here. But we worry about the future, we worry about the past, and you've got to think about the future, and you've got to learn from the past, remember it, but don't let it wreck your present moment. I think is what that's all about, right? This happens when a subsystem of the brain called the default mode network is active. So this is like much of the time humans are stuck worrying about the past and the future rather than the present. This happens when a subsystem of the brain called this default mode network is active. Although it normally results in anxious and stressful thoughts, evolutionarily, it offers great benefits. We spend much of our time ruminating on past events to learn from what went wrong, and we think about future events in order to prepare for them, right? And we have another quote here. A human mind is a wandering mind, and a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So then he says, but because of another evolutionary adaptation called negativity bias, much of this ruminating is focused on negative events, both past and the future. This makes it taxing on us, both mentally and emotionally. Okay, so now we're getting into more and more science. In a Harvard study by psychologist and author Stumbling on Happiness, Daniel T. Gilbert wrote, mind wandering has been closely linked with unhappiness. He and co-author Matthew Killingsworth state that a human mind is a wandering mind, and a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So that's where that quote comes from.
Man, maybe I need to stop swapping guitars out so much.
Yeah. So they also say when we listen to music, research has shown that the default mode network is activated, but with a very different emotional outcome. When the default mode network is engaged by music, we love it. It appears that even though we are in a waking rest state, which is a typical playground for the negative ramblings of the default mode network, the mind focuses on the music. Instead of worrying about that project due at work, the unpaid credit card bill, or what to wear at the wedding next weekend, blah, 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 we get sucked into the music. So for the length of that song or concert, we're much less likely to comb our memories or future for negative or unresolved trauma or events. Sweet relief. Can we get an ohm? Can we get an ohm on that one, right? That's funny. Anyway, so for thousands of years, Buddhist meditators have known the effects of an activated default mode network as mind wandering, and the tools to transcend it are built into the meditation system. By using gently repeated intentions, noting of thoughts as they arise, and a general increase in mental power, Buddhist meditation allows us to transcend the random and negative imaginings about past and future. And that's a very important word that he says, imaginings, because a lot of what our negative mind, or the what, like Eckhart Tolle talked about, the pain body. And it's kind of funny that he calls it the body. But what he talks about is something he calls the pain body, which is also the mind being like this thing that just incessantly never leaves you alone with its negative kind of barrage of blah, blah, blah. And that's why sometimes people can't sleep, right? They have too much stuff going on in their minds, just blah,
You
blah,
said
blah.
pain body. It's like, I know that feeling, but I didn't know where you're going with that. I thought pain body meant your body's aching from age.
Yeah, if you haven't read the book, The Power of Now, get it and read it, because it's probably one of the best books out there in modern times that really goes into how the mind can keep you from being whole, and from, like going through like some of the stuff you went through. If you had that knowledge, that would have helped you a lot. Like one of the guys that you've watched that pedal show, Mick, you hear him talking about some of this stuff once in a while on shows, right? He really was able to get into a better place in his life when it came to dealing with anxiety and depression kind of thoughts and behaviors, even through using, some of the things in that book, some of the things that Eckhart Tolle talks about. And he has a very interesting life too, what he went through and where he's gotten to. And it's a fantastic read. And then his second book is a bit more difficult wordy wise, but once you've read the first one, you might be able to understand, his way of writing and expressing himself or expressing this. But the New Earth is another one that I have. That book is like dog-eared notes all over the pages. I mean, yeah, amazing stuff. A lot of people in the world
I've been
call it
looking for a
self-help.
good book to read.
Dude, read that. It's not. Don't think of it as a self-help book, even though you'll help yourself a lot by reading that book. A lot. Yeah. Fantastic. But
I was
let's get
reading
back
about the
to.
Russian Revolution recently.
Oh, well, that's real positive stuff. See, some reading, well, history is not a bad thing, but see, again, like what this psychologist here is talking about, is our mind loves that stuff. It eats it up like candy, just like all the guitars and all these other things. It's like it's a short term kind of like I'll use the word masturbation. It gets you there. It's momentary, but it doesn't have all the other things that come with real loving sexual experience, right? Which is one of the most connected things you can have in life, right? To another person, being connected in that way. And ironically, that's how procreation occurs also. So it's a big motivator to procreate, right? One of the number one reasons why a species exists is to procreate. That's one of the things that we're trying to do: survive, live, and procreate, right? But we're getting into a different level here as human beings with our abilities to think, and it can take us out of the present, because that bird doesn't know the future or the past so much as it knows the present. It has what we think they're behaving on instinct. But you've had animals, you've had pets, you can see how they react to loving expression versus the opposite, right?
Oh
They
yeah.
react to it the same way we do, you know?
Yeah.
So these things are universal. These are universal truths, as they would call it, right? They being people who study and talk about this stuff. uh, oh, you can't hear us, Janice? I am
Janice
frozen
is
and can't get
frozen.
out of it. But I listen. Okay, I'm gonna make her go away, and I'm gonna like remove her. How do I kick from the studio? And I'm gonna make her come back. I'll text her on the phone again. Uh, Try signing back in. Okay. And I do have some videos to share with you guys. Try signing back in as I do. Sometimes they cause me trouble on the channel, but not always. Dopamine hits from the gear come up and by along. I'm not sure what that means, Pooh. If anyone can figure this out, let me know. Right? Yeah, exactly. Nattering the bobs of neurosis. Hobarodi, love you, man. Exactly. When they get you down, right? When they get you down, get out of your mind and find a better crowd. Absolutely. Scott Nickerson, what's up, dude? First side filled, now base side. Filling this file has paid for itself. Having too many StuMac tools I haven't used yet. Dude, I have boxes filled StuMac tools I haven't used yet. But I will someday. It's one of my what would you call it? One of the things I want to do. I was trying to find the right word for it, but anyway. But yeah, back to this. So I'm going to share a video with you guys. So studies at Harvard show that meditation inhibits the functioning of the default mode network that is associated with anxious mind wandering. The resulting here and now mind state generates a deep sense of focused calm, well-being, and a strong connection to others. In fact, meditation's default mode inhibiting qualities may be one of the key driving factors of its well-documented ability to reduce anxiety and stress-related disorders. I saw one of the videos I have posted in the description. is about someone going through having discovered they have HIV because of drug use, because of depression when her husband died, and how much meditation changed things for her. It like just by meditating 20 minutes twice a day raised her T levels, which is a certain kind of white blood cells that deal with your immune response, right? Elevated it to a healthy level when they were like dangerously low. So just meditating, which is 40 minutes out of your day, 20 minutes, once in the morning, once in the evening. Janice is back. Oh, we got you back. Can you hear us?
Hi.
All right. There you go. You can hear us, right?
Yes.
All right. Janice is back. So I'm going to continue here. So it's a well-documented ability to reduce anxiety and stress-related disorders. So using meditation skills to focus on where we are and who we are with, aka living in the present moment, greatly reduces the types of thinking that cause unhappiness. And don't blame yourself for those negative thoughts, people, because it's not your fault. Like that famous movie, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, you know. And that's why
Don't
it
do
is
this,
so hard.
man.
Yeah, don't do this, man. It's not your fault, Brent. Anyway, Limon, it's not your fault that you poop on everything. I always tell my sweetie, she's always like, Limon, she gets mad at him. I'm like, honey, she's a bird. She doesn't know how else to poop. It's gonna happen. You have to prepare for him to deal with his poop. Hey, Dwight. What's up, Dwight? Dwight Bailey, the hitman, putting out the hits. Right on, dude. Love that guy. Anyway, yeah. So what else does he say here? Yeah, about being in the present moment, right? Music was my refuge. I could crawl into the space between the notes and curl my back to loneliness. Maya Angelou, one of my mom's favorite poets and freedom fighter, right? Music also helps us through challenging emotional times, or through read, Laz, helps us through challenging emotional times. Who hasn't sat down in a fit of remorse, self-pity, and listened to one of Nick Drake's depressed, multi, or musy tragedies, the sweet sadness of jilted Marvin Gaye, an imposingly dark Cure album, or Adele's Teenage Diary, right?
Sorry,
Hello.
Blackjack got me.
I know. He's funny.
Put up with Blackjack's.
Don't they have birdie diapers? Well, I did try to put a costume on Roxy one time for the Halloween contest on Johnny Bean's Halloween show one time way back in the day, and we won a pair of pickups. So right on, Roxy, wherever you are out there in the world. Yeah, but reaching for a favorite song to cheer us up is commonplace, but we're often strangely attracted to listening to sad, dramatic music when we're feeling blue. Why would we do that to ourselves when we feel shitty already? Well,
I've gotten a lot better about that, about not torturing myself with sad stuff when I'm sad. You know, it's like just try to get out of it instead of swimming in it.
Yeah, but it's also the mourning of that emotion, and can sometimes help you get through it. Like I played Hannah's lullaby theme for my sister-in-law's mother's memorial service a couple weeks ago, and that's not a sad song, but at the same time, it's a remembrance. It's a lullaby. There's some sad moments in that song though, because when I wrote it, I was missing her too, and I wrote it for her not being able to be there with her. I wrote a lullaby for her, so there's that, right? But music can help you get through those emotions more easily than your mind can sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah, she flew away.
As long as, like you say, not torturing yourself the other way, though, listening to just the saddest song ever and sometimes it's better to just tough it out in a different way, just acknowledging the emotion, but also like not torturing yourself.
Right. Well, that song from the 70s, I think it is, that All By Myself song.
Yeah, like
That's
that,
one of those,
dude.
right?
Yeah,
I remember I
almost should
remember
never listen to that song.
I remember when I used to listen to the song, the Beach Boys song, because I had the greatest hits record album, the vinyl, when I was like 10. And we were dorming. My parents were getting a divorce, and my mom put us into a private school, and we were living in the dorms. And I would play that song in my room. You know that song? In my room, in my room, do do do. And he's talking about like it's just a sad kind of song too, but it felt good to listen to that. And then I'd put on, Billy Joel and something rocking.
Yeah, no, there's something about
Yeah.
like, because like, hey, so I'm not the only one. I'm understood in a way,
Right.
like that does feel good sometimes.
Yeah,
To
so
yeah.
here we'll get right into it here. So music affects deep emotional centers in the brain, says Valerie Salampour, a neuroscientist at McGill University, who studies the effects music has on the human brain. Studies from the UK show that we often have a kind of cathartic reflection to depressing music that feels great in the long run, right? As mentioned before, listening to music activates the default mode network, kind of like meditation, right? But it also primes the brain for empathy as a coping mechanism to prepare us for the emotional trauma described in the music. The brain creates a potent cocktail of feel good neurochemicals. When the song finishes and the faux trauma with it, our brain is left awash. Where did it go? I just got a message and it kind of distracted me. Where did it go? When the song finishes and the faux trauma with it, our brain is left awash with the remaining neurochemicals. The result is a brain immersed in a warm and fuzzy opiate bath. Free drugs, yay! Here we go, ready? Anyway, okay, we gotta stop that. It's probably making some people's ears like, all right. Oh, Frank called you and messed up the stream. Yeah, that happens. Remember when you were calling me, trying to get me to find you and Johnny Bean, and I kept like swiping you off because I was trying to shoot video up in ESP. I still have to. Did I post that already? I don't know if I posted that yet. I was trying to create a movie out of it so I can like edit it, and because I had to do several takes because he kept calling me. And he was outside my house, and the whole thing is messed up. Oh, there you are. Oh, it says device not connected, Janice. Try again. I'm gonna kick the guest. Try again, Janice. Try again, Janice. Keeps kicking her out. Yeah, she has a link. I sent her the link. Maybe she needs the link again. No, she needs a different link. I'll send a new link. She can read this. Because the link keeps coming, but it says that she's not connected. So there's something going on with the way she's trying to connect. I'm not sure if she's got too many things going on her phone at once, kind of thing.
Thanks, Charles.
Let me see if I could try that. I gotta send it to her on Instagram. Clipboard. Where is that? There it is. I think that's the right one. I'm gonna open it in mine just to test it. Enter studio. It's quite an education. Fraser can. Yeah, that's the whole idea of the show. I hope to educate. No, it's not working, Janice. I don't know what's going on. I think Janice is not gonna make it because the show's almost over. Show's almost over anyway. Over anyway. I'm just gonna tell her to hang out in the chat. Just hang out in the chat. And I need to spell almost correctly. And anyway, correctly. There we go. Let's say Janice. Maybe she can make it back in before it all, but it keeps saying device not connected. So I don't know what that means. I've never seen that before except today with Janice. I'm going to kick her from the studio again. I'm thinking that's the right link that I sent you. But yeah, let me see where we're at. All right, back to my notes. So, so we're talking about how the faux trauma that you get from sad music is like fills your brain with a warm, fuzzy opiate bath and free drugs. Yay. So, philosopher from Germany, Arthur Schopenhauer, sums it up perfectly. The inexpressible depth of music, so easy to understand and yet so inexplicable, is due to the fact that it reproduces all the emotions of our innermost being, but entirely without reality and remote from its pain. Right? Interesting. Yeah. And happiness too. But it can, I don't know if it's that remote from it. You can feel the pain, but in a different kind of way. So it's not as negative per se. You can like I've had music. You guys, when I was watching, I don't know if you guys watched the Grammys, but I wanted to watch it because Tim Pierce was going to be playing a lot of the background music stuff on guitar. And even though we didn't get to see a lot of those awards when he's playing those songs as the people walk up and that kind of thing, um, I wanted to watch the Grammys, and it was a really great show. I thought they had a lot of great stuff in it. Um, Joni Mitchell at 90 or something. How old is she? How old is Joni Mitchell? How old is Joni Mitchell? 80. So I don't know if you guys know, but she had a stroke and luckily came back from it and was able to perform on the Grammys. And I was crying. Yeah, I couldn't stop crying. She had me. I mean, just knowing her story and knowing about, everything that she's done, being one of those, what do they call that? The Something Canyon group of, music writers and performers back in the late 60s, early 70s, right? She's really something. And her Grammy performance was just amazing. And she's Canadian too. So that's another plus, right? I love Canadians. So many favorite people of mine are Canadians. Anyway, let's see if Janice wrote anything new. Yeah, you'll just stay and listen on your phone. Okay, I removed you. Okay, sounds good. Back from lurking mode. Right on, Martin. So that got me. I mean, I was like crying like a baby. I couldn't stop the tears, and I was just telling my sweetie, she's like, "Wow, you're really emotional." I'm like, "This song's just got me." The music just got me. She's like, "What does it remind you of something?" And I'm like, "It's not that it reminds me of someone or anything. It's just such a beautiful expression of life and love, you know." Man. Anyway, it was amazing. But where was I with the thing here? But yeah, meditation is also a way of experiencing our emotions more fully. But rather than outsourcing our emotional expression to music and meditation, we're taught to quiet the mind and let the latent and repressed emotions arise. In a state of relaxed mindfulness, we allow emotions to arise without suppressing them or getting caught up in them. And in this way, the feelings, memories, and trauma can fully express in a safe place. This generates greater emotional literacy, releases stored negative emotions that can cause illness, right? If you hold things in, as they say, and increases our focus and mindfulness, all of which are associated with happiness. So here's one from Plato. Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life, joy, right? To everything, right? So we'll finish off with this because this goes on for quite a while. You guys can read this. I have it in the description. But it goes on where he says, it's been demonstrated that listening to music also releases a powerful compound, as I mentioned before, dopamine, which is one of the happiness neurochemicals. It's well known for being the brain's reward drug of choice for encouraging actions that are good for reproduction and survival. And realize something, you guys. A lot of the commercialism and like gaming and being like sucked into the gaming world and that kind of thing, because of the instant gratification you get from those kinds of things. They have that figured out psychologically. They understand how the brain works, and they use what they know of how the brain works and human beings react emotionally and physically and all that. And they use that like to game the system in their favor to keep you buying or keep you in the game or keep you going and going, you know. It's not always healthy. One of the things I also learned is that you can, after like 3 hours of online, like filling your feelings and brain and emotions, you can get worn out. 3 hours per day is about maximum what your emotions, your brain, your body can absorb before then it becomes dulling, you know, and not healthy for you. So, yeah, you know the song, right, Janice? Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful song, right? So realize that too. You know, you got to understand that there's certain things that can be unhealthy for your brain, and brain health is a very important thing. I think we're going to hear that term more and more in the future, rather than talking about mental illness, but talking more about brain health. Okay, is going to be, I think, a destigmatizing way of talking about and working towards healthier brains, right? Healthier emotions, healthier thinking, instead of thinking about these things as mental illness.
It's pretty
Thinking,
important to have the thing healthy that's running your whole body.
yeah, healthy brain is, yeah, and you'll live longer and have a healthier, you know, your later years if you live to be 90 or 100 years old. There's some people that are, you know, that have been able to live that long, that are as spry and witty as any 20-year-old, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Zach, and that's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Though, be aware how long you're sitting in one place. Definitely try to get up once in a while, move your body, even just squirming around. So they say actually sitting in chairs is probably the worst thing that was invented because we don't we don't move. It's so comfortable that it keeps our body from movement, and the lack of movement is actually one of the worst things for your body, and that's not good for your brain either. When it comes to like circulation, you want more circulation going through your body because circulation in the brain is good for your brain, and so you need circulation, and movement. Exercise is one of the best things for circulation. Sitting down for hours on end in the same position for hours on end, not great. Definitely proven fact scientifically, not good for your body. But it can make you feel good, you know. But what's the price, right? So there are other ways to feel good too. And I'm not saying don't game. I'm just saying move around when you're gaming. Try to be active in some way. Try to change positions. Sit in a different chair for a little while. Stand up for a
Or
while.
just, just know and take breaks and just don't do it for long hours is what I would say. Because
Or
I
move
mean,
around. Moving around
when
helps.
you're in,
Move around. Just move around a
well,
little
but
bit.
sometimes you want to just relax and just tune the world out and just,
Yeah,
and that's all you want to do, and that's fine.
absolutely.
Just I would suggest not doing it for 6 hours on end.
No.
Just I've started playing video games again, and I've been doing it in like little 1 hour chunks, and it's been good. It's been really good for me to just do something different, shut my mind off, and occupy my time for a short amount of time, and then just get back to my regular day. And it's been okay.
Yeah. So I'll finish off this like what I'm reading here for you guys. In Buddhist meditation, you train yourself to lessen the craving, to act on or evolutionary urges that are reinforced by dopamine. Buddhists believe that this is directly tied to a reduction of suffering and a heightened sense of happiness and connectedness in daily life. In fact, after realizing nirvana, the historical Buddha stated in the first and second of his philosophical or philosophy defining Four Noble Truths that the cause of suffering is craving. Right? Interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting. And Billy Joel, one of my favorite musicians of all time, who was the one who closed out the night at the Grammys, which I was really glad to see. Writes, I think music, this is quoted, is something we are all touched by. No matter what culture we're from, everyone loves music. Right? Right on. So let me finish off by sharing one of the videos that I gleaned during my research, and we'll play you out with this. Let me see. Where's my history? There it is. Yeah, I thought this one was really, really interesting, and it's rather short enough. Right? It's only like 5 minutes long. And let me make sure it's not too loud for you all here. Sounds great, Brent, by the way. All right, I'm going to share the screen to this
Thank you.
video. Hopefully we don't get blocked or something because of this. Share. Go ahead and hit that. And there we go. Add to the stage, and let's hit start.
Living in New York, I feel like you're constantly bombarded with stressful sounds 24/7. So can sounds like these help with stress management and anxiety? To get answers, I went to a university lab to get hooked up to a brain recording device.
Feels good.
And tracked my heart rate at a sound bath in Brooklyn. During sound baths or sound meditations, a facilitator like Matan Shalvit plays instruments.
This is the music they should play in bathrooms.
Yeah, it might
The
help.
idea is to really listen to the instruments, trust yourself, and let go.
For the nearly 2-hour group session, Matan told us to move as little as possible. That was actually easier than I anticipated.
There is never same feeling. There is never the same trip. It's always different.
It kind of felt ominous and scary, but then also like really grounding. And that was unexpected, but nice.
To understand the science behind how music affects the brain and body, I drove up to Yale University in New Haven. There, I met Aza Alsop, a musician and neuroscientist who studies the effects of music on the brain.
Some of what sound baths are actually tapping into as well is this idea of meditation. It's sort of getting your mind into a place that is more still.
Aza and Matan told me that music helps us get into a meditative state more easily.
What about music facilitates that?
Some of it we think is the actual physiology. So the fact that your heart rate is now slowing down, your breathing is slowing down when you have these very long sort of tones.
During my sound meditation, Matan played tones that lingered for a long time and that were bright and light.
This was among my lowest heart rates.
So right now I hear a lot of longer, higher frequencies.
Some studies have found that sounds like these stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a network of nerves that helps run involuntary bodily functions like digestion. When the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system increases, blood pressure and heart rate go down, and you feel more relaxed. During my visit, I tried out a session of Aza's online music mindfulness study. In his participants, he's seeing lower levels of perceived stress. I was surprised that I also felt calmer and more relaxed here, even though the setting wasn't as soothing as the yoga studio.
Got the gong.
But music can also be intense and bring up unsettling emotions.
The harmonics are a little bit more dissonant. There's a little bit more tension there.
In some cases, sounds with these qualities can even activate the amygdala, which is involved in our fear response.
We feel that emotion, we might cry or have some sort of cathartic experience.
Aza's brain imaging research is trying to decode what kinds of music can improve our mental health and under what circumstances. One of his initial findings is that certain kinds of music facilitate social connection, which can also relieve stress and have positive health benefits.
Social connection.
AZA and his team hooked me up to dozens of brain activity sensors to test music's effects on brain activity and how connected
Going
I
into the
felt to another
Matrix?
person. And we'll hook
Looks
up.
like it.
In this case, head of the Brain Function Lab, neuroscientist Joy Hirsch. We felt most connected when we were listening to harmonious music like this and looking at each other. That's in part because the temporal parietal junction, an area that helps with social information processing, is more active. And it's less active when the music is dissonant. Feeling connected is important because isolation is a growing mental health problem. 58% of Americans say they're lonely.
That's
That
a
figure is
big
even higher
number.
among Hispanic and Black adults, for
Even
whom
bigger.
AZA and other experts say there are big unmet mental health needs. One barrier to accessing sound meditation sessions and their potential benefits is cost. The other is time. But research shows that even a few minutes of pairing music and mindfulness can help.
Cool, huh? So pairing, and she's a journalist that works with the Wall Street Journal. And she's talking about the science of things like that. It's really great. So there's more. If you guys want to read more, like from what I was reading in the description, I have several links. There's some scientific articles and studies, like from the APA and things like that there, that get a little, you know, how would you put it? Studious. they can be a little dry, as it's said, right? But that way I have something backing up what I'm saying. I don't want to just be making up stuff. I don't make stuff up on the show. I try to talk about what the modern science and what we've gleaned from thousands of experiments by.
No, I really appreciate the research you do, man. I think it's cool.
Yeah, the untold numbers of studies done, so that everything that I'm bringing to you guys is based on factual scientific information. What I mean by that is the best information we have now. Doesn't mean that it's the only and best information. It's what we know and have now. Just like with the Webb telescope, we found out more things about the universe that we didn't know about. Some people got scared that, oh, we didn't have a big bang, everything's wrong. Those people were wrong. They misinterpreted somebody's a scientist being freaked out by the new information without context. Bottom line is there's a lot of good information out there. There's a lot of bad information too. So try to get peer-reviewed information. And what peer-reviewed information means, your peers, the people that you are, consider you're, the best at what they know, review what you're saying and try to debunk it or disprove it. And if they can't, they then accept it. If you look into Einstein's history, there's a new thing I think on Netflix about Einstein and the bomb, right? Because they just had the Oppenheimer movie. It was a big success. And there was a recent one about Einstein that's out that we watched last night. And it's a really good one. One of the things that's interesting about it is how at that time in Germany, because of the Nazi Reich wanting to basically push everyone away that wasn't following their way of thinking, Einstein's theories were considered garbage, and they were trying to say that he's actually trying to de-educate people, uneducate, mess up the thinking and the education of things, the understanding of physics, like he was.
So politics has been around for a little while.
Yeah, right. So be aware of these things too. Be aware of the bubble you might be in, right? Try to get as much information as you can, but try to get as much peer-reviewed and factual information as you can. But be aware that there can be the groupthink thing too. So groupthink being is that all the educators all agree on the same thing, or all the people believe the same thing because they're all wanting to believe the same thing. And you can see how that can be a problem. You have to have a lot of information from different sources and sides, because you never know when someone everyone disagrees with is wrong. The doctor who was first talking about gut health was being called a quack, and now everyone's talking about gut health. right? Now we're getting more and more into the brain. We know so little about the brain, yet we're learning so much more all the time. But really, it's probably one of the most important organ in our body, but we know the least about. So we're learning more and more. And mental health, or what I would call brain health, like this guy was talking about it being brain health, you know, is a super important thing. Hey, Booster Black, what's up? Did you see the brain scans on cognitive thinking? God, I've seen a lot of different kinds of scans, but they sound like anything we know today. The diode hat. Oh, I got to go back to the beginning. That's why Laz wears the Sherpa. You're right. It's actually not a Sherpa. It's a Chuyo, which is not a Himalayan, but a Peruvian, or something from the Andes. They wear a lot. Anyway, yeah. As a matter of fact, I studied under the psychologist who worked with NASA as their head of their neuroscience department for many years. And he was one of the guys who, if not the guy, who invented that electromagnetic reading, mapping of the brain thing. So pretty smart guy. Anyway, but that's the show, you guys. So check out the description for more if you want to learn more about this stuff. Thanks, man. Yeah, Peru is great, dude. Peru. That's where this little guy comes from. He comes from a northern valley of Peru. He's a yellow-faced Pacific parrotlet. Why I call him Limon, because he's yellow. Check it out. Right, Limon? Look at his cute little lemon yellow face. All right, you guys. I've got more of the studio put back together, but I still have to remove that shelf right there, that shelf that goes all the way across. I'm going to remove that because it's actually interfering and taking up space rather than giving me more space. It's been useful up until now, and I'm going to do that today. But I did get the hangers put back up on the wall. This is gear stuff. I replaced all the hangers with string swing hangers, and I'm hoping later today, if I have time, I'm going to make some more of these Roxy's guitar hangers. Though my brother John says I should stick to the original name, Soundtrap Designs or Soundtrap Guitar Hangers, because that tells you what it is. It's a Soundtrap as well as a guitar hanger. So we might go back to that and not call it Soundtrap Designs, but just Soundtrap Guitar Hangers. We'll see. We're developing this product for the world. All right. Right on, dude. Well, let me blow you guys away one last time with this. Bring Brent back into the fold here as well. He got much bigger by checking there. He's the same size. All right. That's the show, you guys. Thanks so much for coming, and we'll see you next week. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but I'll think of a good one, and or suggest a good topic. Put some comments after the show. Of course, don't forget to hit that like button, share the channel. It's slowly growing. We might hit 1,000 this year. It'd be nice. I might give away a guitar. That's kind of the plan. I'm going to give away a guitar. But if you don't play guitar and you want a keyboard or something like that, we can go with the same kind of price range and get a keyboard, right? Or something like that. As long as it's a musical instrument, right? It could be a bass, right? It could be a travel guitar, like that Black Star.
Wait, so that could be a bass if you want it, I guess.
If you want a bass, I mean, you know. No, I mean, I think bass has some of them frequencies that really get you, you know. Right? Anyway, but thank you very much, Charles. Thank you. Praise be to Tylenol. Or is that Thai? What is that? Tylenol? At first I read Tylenol. There goes my brain. See, that's your messed up brain writing into you things. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out the description, you guys, because it's a lot of good stuff there. There's several 1 to 2 hour to 2.5 hour long. There was one 3-hour video I almost posted. That's all about brain health, but that one wasn't about music and meditation as much, even though that guy's a neuroscientist and he's really big on meditation. Definitely check that out. Maybe I'll do something more about music in the brain, even though we've kind of done that, you know, but we can do it in more depth, I guess. But yeah, Music is Therapy show should be about music and therapy, right? One of the other things I definitely wanted to bring to the show is more actual music therapy out in the world, right? So I'll try to bring that more to you guys as the time, you know, as the weeks, days, weeks, and months come at us, right? The future, thinking about the future. But don't forget the present. Be in it now, and go check out that book, dude. I'll loan you mine if you want, if I can find it. The Power of Now. Great book. If you guys haven't read it, don't think of it like a self-help book. Think about it as more of understanding the mind and the brain book. It's about understanding how our brain operates and how we can then knowing, you know, and understanding how the brain operates can then be better at getting it to do what we want it to do, right? Yeah, the bowl. Here we go. We'll take you out with that, you guys. I think it's a C chord. I think it's C. Are you in tune?
I might not be. I just sold my tuner.
Yeah. I don't think you are. Yeah, neuroplasticity, indeed, Hobarodi. All right, no worries, Janice. You're good, man. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, you guys. Enjoy your Sunday.